Monday has an opinion about you, and it is worth challenging before you believe it. The opinion arrives early, before you have had a chance to do anything, before you have succeeded or failed at a single thing, before you have proven yourself in any direction. Monday morning has already formed a verdict about the week ahead, about what it will cost, about whether you have what it takes to get through it. And that verdict tends to be delivered in the form of a feeling that lands somewhere in the chest before the first alarm has fully faded. The feeling is familiar, the weight of what has not yet begun but is already pressing. The sense of the week as something to be endured rather than entered. The low-grade dread that turns the days ahead into a wall rather than a road. And underneath it, the quieter question that Monday mornings tend to surface more than any other day. Am I actually enough for this? The answer, if you have been listening to the wrong voice, is often no. The wrong voice has been collecting evidence all weekend. It filed away the moments of the previous week that did not go well. It noted the places where you fell short, where you were less patient than you wanted to be, less capable than the situation required, less than the version of yourself you are still trying to become. And now, at the start of a new week, it presents its case. You are not stronger than this. You barely made it through last week. What makes you think this one will be any different? That voice is not telling you the truth. And this morning we are going to replace what it has been saying with something that is actually true. This is Monday, March 23rd, and you are here before the week has had a chance to make its full case for why you should be afraid of it. That matters, because the person who brings their Monday morning to God before the weight of the week has settled fully into the shoulders is already standing in a different position, already accessed something the wrong voice does not know about. His word declares in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 10, that when I am weak, then I am strong. Not despite the weakness. In it. Through it. The strength that comes from God does not require the absence of limitation. It operates precisely in the presence of it. Which means Monday morning, with all its weight and all its dread and all its honest awareness of what you are up against, is not the evidence that you lack strength. It might be exactly the condition in which the real strength becomes available. Before we enter this prayer, write in the comments right now, I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. Write it before you feel it, because declaring it tends to produce what passive waiting never does. Like this video as an act of defiance against every Monday that has convinced you it was stronger than you. Subscribe to this channel so we can begin every week together before Monday sets the agenda. And share this prayer with someone who woke up this morning already counting the days until Friday. They need this exactly as much as you do. Now let us take on Monday together. Lord my God and my Father, I come before you on this Monday morning and I will be direct. The week ahead feels heavy before it has started. There is a version of the next 5 days that my imagination is already constructing, and it is not a gentle version. It is full of demands and difficulties and the particular pressures that are specific to this season of my life. And I bring that weight to you now before the week has a chance to confirm it or the day has a chance to add to it. I do not come to you with manufactured confidence. I come to you with real need. And your word says that is exactly where your strength meets me. Not where I have it together, where I honestly do not. Meet me here, Lord, in the Monday morning that is harder than it looks, with the strength that does not come from me. Your word declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 28, verse 7, that the Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him and he helps me. My heart leaps for joy, and with my song I praise him. Strength and shield both, not one or the other. The active provision of what I need to move through the week and the protective covering over what I cannot handle on my own. Both available this Monday morning. Father, I want to name what Monday morning resistance actually is. because I think naming it accurately changes how it can be addressed. It is not laziness. The person who dreads Monday morning is not, in most cases, someone who does not want to work or does not care about their life. They are usually someone who cares deeply, who has invested heavily, who has given a great deal to the people and the responsibilities and the commitments that Monday requires them to return to. The dread is not the absence of commitment. It is the honest awareness that the commitment costs something. And the weekend, brief as it was, gave just enough distance from the cost to make returning to it feel more acute. That is the specific texture of Monday morning resistance. Not, I do not want to do this. More like, I am not sure I have enough left to do this well. And that distinction matters because the second version is a real and honest assessment of a real condition. It is not weakness pretending to be legitimate. It is the legitimate exhaustion of a person who has been giving something real and is now being asked to give it again before the reserves are fully restored. Maybe that is exactly where you are this morning. Not resistant to the week because you are not committed to it. Resistant because you are very committed to it, and commitment has a cost, and you have been paying it for a long time. Your word declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 29, that he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Not the strong who want more, the weary, the weak, the ones who arrive at Monday morning with less than the week is about to ask for. That is precisely the profile of the person God strengthens. You qualify. The need you feel right now is not a disqualification. It is the exact condition that the promise addresses. I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. And Father, I want to ask you for something very specific about the quality of strength I am receiving this morning, not just the quantity, because there are different kinds of strength, and the kind Monday requires is not always the obvious kind. Monday sometimes needs endurance more than energy, the strength to keep going when the visible results are not yet appearing. The strength to stay present in a difficult situation when leaving would be easier. The strength to be kind when the mood is not there for it. The strength to do the ordinary thing with care when the ordinary thing is the 10th time this week it has needed to be done. That kind of strength is not dramatic, but it is exactly what a Monday asks for, and it is exactly what only you can provide from the inside out. And there is something else Monday requires that rarely gets named: the strength to begin again. Because Monday is fundamentally about beginning. It is the reset, the fresh page, the moment where whatever happened last week is in the past and this week has not yet been written. And beginning again, after a week that cost something, after a weekend that restored only part of what was spent, after the accumulated weight of a season that has been demanding for longer than expected, is genuinely hard. Beginning takes faith. It requires a kind of courage that does not announce itself loudly, but that shows up every Monday in the simple act of getting up and starting again. That courage is what I am asking for this morning. Not the dramatic kind that makes for good stories. The ordinary, unglamorous, every week courage of a person who keeps beginning, who keeps showing up, who keeps believing that this week can be different, even when the evidence of previous weeks makes that harder to sustain. That faith, practiced over and over in the quiet of a Monday morning, is one of the most underrated acts of spiritual bravery there is. Your word declares in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 23, that his mercies are new every morning. New. Not recycled, not the leftovers of last week's provision. Fresh, this morning for this Monday, new mercies for the new week. That is the supply I am drawing on right now, and it does not run out. Lord, I want to bring a scene into this prayer that belongs here. I want to bring Nehemiah. The city of Jerusalem lay in ruins. The walls were broken down. The gates had been burned. The people who lived there lived in disgrace, exposed to every threat that a city without walls faces. And Nehemiah, an ordinary man with an ordinary job, heard the report and sat down and wept. And then he prayed. And then he got up and did something about it. He went back to the king he served and asked for permission to go and rebuild what was broken. And the king granted it. And Nehemiah arrived at Jerusalem and surveyed the damage by night, just him and a few animals, and saw how much there was to do. And then he gathered the people and said, "The God of heaven will give us success. Let us start rebuilding." They built the wall of Jerusalem in 52 days, against opposition, against mockery, against threats, against the constant pressure of people who did not want the wall rebuilt and were willing to do almost anything to stop it. Nehemiah's response to one of the most direct threats was to set half the people to work and arm the other half, and to keep going. What made Nehemiah stronger than the opposition expected? He knew who he was working for. He prayed with the same regularity that he worked. And when the mockery got loudest, when Sanballat said, "What are these feeble Jews doing?" Nehemiah did not collapse under the assessment. He prayed. He said, "Hear us, our God, for we are despised." And then he went back to work. Your word declares in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 10, that the joy of the Lord is your strength. That is not a motivational phrase. It is a description of a source. Joy that comes from knowing who you belong to and who is working through you and why what you are doing matters. That joy produces a strength that mockery and opposition and the weight of Monday morning cannot ultimately undermine. Because it does not come from favorable circumstances. It comes from a God who is favorable toward you, regardless of what the circumstances are doing. I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. You are not Nehemiah, and you are not rebuilding a city wall, but the principle is the same. You are doing something that matters. You are showing up to a life that has weight and cost and genuine difficulty. And the God who gave Nehemiah what he needed for 52 days of opposition is the same God available to you for this one Monday. The opposition you face today, whatever form it takes, is not stronger than the source you have access to. And I want to stay with the Nehemiah story for one more observation that belongs in this prayer. Chapter 4 describes the moment when the opposition was at its most discouraging. Sanballat mocked in front of an entire army. And then the rubble was piling up and the workers were saying, "We cannot rebuild this wall. There is too much." And then enemies were threatening a physical attack. And what did Nehemiah do? He stationed people at the exposed places of the wall, families together, armed. And he said to them, "Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes." And when the enemies heard that the plan had been discovered, the text says, they all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem. But it also says simply that they did not come, because God thwarted their plans. Remember the Lord. That is the instruction for Monday. Not forget the weight of the week. Not pretend the opposition is not real. Remember the Lord. Hold both, the reality of what you are facing and the reality of who you are facing it with. And let the second reality be louder than the first. Your word declares in the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 11 to seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always, always. Not only in crisis, not only when the opposition is visible, always. Monday through Friday, in the easy weeks and the hard ones. In the weeks that vindicate the effort and the ones that seem to return nothing, seek his face always, and from that seeking the strength follows. Father, I want to ask you now to go with me into the specific moments of this Monday where the strength will be most needed, not in a general way, in the particular. The first difficult interaction of the week, the one that has been waiting since Friday and has not gotten easier over the weekend. Before you walk into that room or open that conversation, let your strength be what I draw on, not just my own preparation. Give me the right words at the right moment, not the ones I rehearsed over the weekend in my head, but the ones that are actually needed when I am actually standing there. The decision that has been deferred and cannot be deferred past this week. The one that requires more wisdom than I feel I currently have. Lord, your word declares in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5, that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to them. I am asking, before the decision arrives, give me the wisdom before I need it, so that when the moment comes, I am not scrambling for something I should have already received. The moment this Monday where the old pattern will try to reassert itself. The reaction that has happened before, the response that has caused damage before, the place where the character is still being formed and the Monday pressure tends to expose it. Give me awareness in that moment, a fraction of a second between the trigger and the response where your spirit can intervene, not to eliminate the pressure, to change what comes out of me in the presence of it. And Lord, for the people I will lead or influence or simply encounter today, let the strength I receive in this prayer be something that reaches them through me, not as a performance of spiritual health, as the genuine overflow of a person who came to God this morning and received something real. Let the quality of my presence today be different because of what happened here. Let Monday, which was going to be one thing before this prayer, become something else because I started it in the right place. Your word declares in the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 that I can do all things through him who gives me strength. All things, not the easy ones only, not the ones that feel manageable, the full weight of a Monday in the middle of a demanding season, all of it through him. That is not a claim about my own capacity. It is a claim about his. And Lord, I want to ask for one more thing for this Monday before this block closes. I want to ask for the strength to be generous today, not just to endure the week, but to give something in it, to notice someone who needs what I have to offer and offer it, even when the generous version of me has to push past the depleted version. The kind word that costs a little more than usual when the reserves are low. The patience extended to someone who does not make it easy. The attention given to a person who needs it fully without the half-presence that a distracted Monday produces. Because generosity from a depleted place is a different kind of strength than generosity from abundance. When there is plenty, giving is easy. When there is not plenty, giving is faith. It is the widow's oil that kept flowing as long as she kept pouring. It is the loaves and fish that multiplied in the act of distribution rather than the act of conservation. It is the principle that what is offered to God and to others in faith does not diminish the way arithmetic would predict. It multiplies in ways that only God can explain. Let me be that kind of person today, Lord, not holding back what little I have to protect it, opening it up in faith and trusting that what is given in your name does not deplete what you are continuously providing. I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. Father, as this prayer moves toward its close, I want to do something that Monday mornings rarely make space for. I want to look back before I look forward. I want to look back at every Monday that came before this one. Every Monday that felt at its start like it was going to be too much. Every week that began with the weight of the week pressing down before a single thing had happened. And I want to notice what actually happened. Not every week was easy. Not every difficulty resolved. Not every moment of pressure gave way to something comfortable. But every single Monday I made it through. Not because I was always strong enough, because something held me that was stronger than what was coming against me. That track record is evidence. It is not a guarantee of ease, it is a guarantee of presence. The God who was with me in every difficult Monday before this one is the same God I am talking to right now, and his track record does not change on a Monday in March. He has never once left a person he promised to be with. In the middle of the week, he helped them begin. Your word declares in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6, to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Never. That word is absolute. Not usually. Not in the easier weeks. Not when the faith is strong and the circumstances are favorable. Never. Every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday afternoon, when the week has cost more than it looked like it would from the beginning, He is there. He goes with you. He does not leave. And I want to say something to the version of you that is going to be tired by Wednesday afternoon, the one who started Monday with full intention and will be running lower by midweek. You are going to make it to the end of this week, not because you are superhuman, because the God who started the week with you does not abandon you in the middle of it. He will be there at the 2 o'clock slump on Wednesday, the same way He was here at 7 in the morning on Monday. The strength that carries you through is not going to run out, because it is not yours. I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. That is my declaration for this Monday, and for every day the week produces. Not that I am fearless, that I am held by the one who does not fear. Not that I have unlimited capacity, that I am connected to the one who does. Not that this week will be easy, that it will be walked in company with the God who has never once let go of anyone He was walking with. To everyone who prayed with me this morning, go back to the comments and write it one final time. I am stronger than this Monday thinks. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. Let that be the declaration you return to every time this week tries to convince you otherwise. Subscribe to this channel and come back tomorrow morning. We are here every day, beginning before the week has had its say. Share this prayer with someone who is facing this Monday with more weight than they want to be carrying. The most faithful thing you can do is put this in their hands before the day gets any heavier. May the Lord be your strength today. In every moment the week tries to outpace you, may the courage that is rooted in who He is hold steady when the courage that is rooted in how you feel gives way. May you arrive at Friday, having done something you did not think you had the strength for on Monday morning, and may you know exactly where the strength came from. And may this Monday, which looked like a wall at its start, turn out to be the door to a week that God had already prepared. In Jesus' name, amen.